This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details. The
Gopher women's basketball team has advanced to the quarterfinals and need you at Williams Arena on Thursday night as they host Gonzaga with a trip to the Final Four on the line, the WBIT Final Four. You can get your tickets at gophersports.com, but caller 11 right now win a pair of tickets to Thursday's win-or-go-home battle. Call now, 1-800-320-5326, 1-800-320-5326. Good luck.
That sounds like a heck of a concert. I might want to show up with some friends.
Couple 13-14 pass, hour number 3 of the Common Man program. I'm Common. He's Brett Blakemore. Excited and delighted to be joined by the legendary one, Mark Rosen, formerly of Channel 4 Sports. Sports is your whole life, just sports fame. Aaron Rodgers, back in the news. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, assembled media. He would not, I think he got a little tongue-twisted there, and he did not close the door on Aaron Rodgers becoming a member of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota.
Let me ask you a question.
Thoughts?
What was the purpose of this news conference today? Why was it held?
I have no idea.
I mean, Kwesi's a very, very bright, analytical man. And KOC was nowhere, he's out doing whatever he's doing. Did anyone ask questions of Kwesi? I didn't hear the entire news conference. Did anyone ask him about the new free agent additions and how they're going to improve the team and break it down with the Jeff Okudah and Hargrave and the rest of the guys, Ryan Kelly? Anyone ask those questions? Was that the purpose of the news conference, or was it knowing full well? I mean, could you see Rick Spielman doing this and saying, Brad Childress was just on the phone with Brett Favre, and he had long conversations. They have a lot of respect for each other, blah, 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 blah. I'm just saying, what was the purpose of the news conference? Knowing full well he was going to get nothing but Aaron Rodgers questions, because the rest of the stuff is all kind of speaks for itself. We've improved the offensive line. We've improved the defensive line. We're really happy with the free agent class. We're looking forward to the draft. It was all about Aaron Rodgers and getting some message out there. Otherwise, why hold the news conference? I was wondering, why is this happening today? What's he doing this for?
You declared last week that the Vikings would not sign Aaron Rodgers. Your thoughts now?
I don't think they will, but I think that he's playing it smart. I think he, meaning Kwesi's, playing it smart.
Well, if they
the question
why
I have,
would they just say they're not? No, we have no interest.
Because it's only March. I mean, you can always keep the door open. My question is, what are the Pittsburgh Steelers thinking right now?
Well, they're being used as patsies.
Well, okay, so if they got Mason Rudolph as their starting quarterback, that's fine.
Rodgers ain't
wonderful. Skylar Thompson is their backup.
He will be in a Viking uniform this year.
Well, what is Pittsburgh going to give? Rodgers is playing. Then Rodgers is playing then a game of musical football chairs.
Would you expect anything
chairs.
less from Aaron Rodgers?
No, of course not. But I'm saying in the past he's been able to kind of maneuver the system to his liking. I mean, he was under contract. This is the first time he's been a free agent. So if you're Aaron Rodgers and you're going, well, I've had this conversation or conversations with KOC, and he's kind of laid it out there saying, look, are you willing to come in here to back up J.J. McCarthy with the idea that you would be ready? Well, I'm just saying, then you hear Kwesi out of the next breath saying we couldn't be happier with J.J. McCarthy and everything he's doing so far.
Because he screwed up.
I mean, again, if Rodgers wants to play football in 2025, wants to be guaranteed of it, the only replace right now or between now and probably July will be with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And he won't sign until July when he signs.
Well, he may not. I mean, he wouldn't be the first or the last. But if I'm the Steelers and I'm the ownership, I'm going, well, don't I need an answer from this guy? I mean, they've already met. They've met for hours and hours, and I'm sure there's money on the table. Mike Tomlin's the head coach. They know what they have in Pittsburgh. They're always competitive. They're always,
For Rodgers, Pittsburgh's the bridesmaid.
Well, it might be. It might be, but then you're playing. But you're gonna start in Pittsburgh. You don't know that here.
he's starting here if he signs here. Well, otherwise he won't come here.
But that's what I feel. That's why I don't think he's coming here.
So you think KOC would actually look at his pal, because they got this friendship and this tightness, he'd say, you're a 4-time MVP and a first ballot Hall of Famer, but you're going to...
Well, quit saying 4-time MVP. It doesn't matter. He's 41 years old.
You're going to tell a 4-time MVP in a
That's like saying Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods has won how many major championships? And if he was healthy enough to play in the Masters, would you pick him?
In a first ballot Hall of... Well, nobody picked Woods in 2018, did they?
No, I know. Okay. My point, exactly. Right. But I mean...
But he won.
He won in 2018. It's not 2018 anymore, and he's banged up like Rodgers is banged up. I think Aaron Rodgers would be a wonderful addition to the team as a backup. But I don't see him. I think that's my own personal opinion. I think you're going to stunt the growth of a guy who I think would be ready to go this year.
What?
And if you have Aaron Rodgers as the backup and he wants to come in here, I'll welcome him. Welcome with open arms.
Do you think Jordan Love was raring to go, ready and raring to go in his first rookie year?
Well, I think the messaging was a little different there, because that's sort of the Green Bay way of doing things. There's a history there of Rodgers backing up Favre, and then when Jordan Love came in here, I don't think he's any great shake. Sorry, Brett. I think he's a good quarterback. What's that?
I said, keep sleeping on him, Rosie.
I am sleeping on him, but I'm just saying, he was probably given that message. And JJ said it yesterday. I mean, look, I haven't been told him that I'm a quarterback. It's gamesmanship that goes on. Again, it kind of gets back to Kwesi called this news conference today to get this message out there, and he does a really good job. He's a really smart guy. And so everybody else can go scurrying around going, wow, I guess they haven't closed the door on A-Rod yet. No, they haven't. And why should they? They don't have to. They don't have to do anything right now. They can just wait it out. It's only March. And
more than likely, KOC wants Rodgers on a 1-year team-friendly salary. Mm-hmm. And maybe he is pushing, you're going to come in and compete for the job. You're not going to be anointed the starter. Maybe that's what it is. And now it's,
I don't know.
Aaron.
Yeah. Thinking about
that's what the deal is. Get back to us when you come up.
I understand from a media standpoint, obviously from a hysteria standpoint. I mean, all of us lived through 2009 and what happened when Brett showed up here still, and coming off kind of a injury plagued, whatever kind of year with the Jets, much the way Rodgers is. And it took him a little while to get warmed up. And once he did, he was on a roll all the way, should have been to the Super Bowl. And Rodgers is I think this is kind of a similar situation. And I don't know what Kwesi's poker hand he's playing right now. If he's just trying to force the hand of the Steelers a little bit to say, look, we got to make a decision here. They have an offer on the table, and maybe Rodgers will just walk away. If this doesn't happen, he's kind of run out of football teams. There's really no one left that I can think of. I mean, I know there's chit chat about Cleveland making a deal to try to trade for Dak Prescott and, blah, blah, blah.
I think the Vikings need Rodgers more than Rodgers needs the Vikings.
I think the idea of a healthy, motivated Aaron Rodgers with the weapons that he has around him would be intriguing. I'm not going to lie about it.
Now you're coming around to my way of thinking.
I'm not disputing that, because he could walk in the day before the opener and know how to run the offense. I understand that, and I think he's probably healthier than he's been in quite a while. His mind would probably be right.
Well, unless he's been ayahuasca.
Well, he's going to take that anyway.
Yeah.
But it's also the idea of the messaging to a quarterback that you know and you feel is going to be the franchise quarterback for
you can't worry. We're not talking about feelings and messaging.
I'm not talking about,
what we're talking about is
winning.
Kid, you're going to be the quarterback eventually. But guess what? We have a once-in-a-lifetime champ to get a fourth. We think we can make a run right now. Well, you've always asked the question of
if JJ started and what happened with him. What if Rodgers starts and is a flop?
Well, then you put JJ in. That's simple. Then the JJ era starts. You mentioned that's the way Green Bay did it. Mm-hmm. It's worked pretty well for him, too, hasn't it?
It has.
Favre, Rodgers, and now Jordan.
They've had three quarterbacks in 30 years.
Mark my words. In 2034, Jordan Love will be a Minnesota Viking.
You already done the math.
Oh, he was 34, 35, in 2034. He's going to be Minnesota Viking. You know what I think part of this is? Mm-hmm. I think you were more of an insider back in the Norm Van Brocklin days.
Norm Van Brocklin? I didn't even cover. I was 10 years old.
Back when you had access to Norm Van Brocklin and Jimmy Finks.
I didn't have.
And remarkable Mike Lynn. You had.
Slick. No, you can't say remarkable. You have to say remarkably slick Mike Lynn.
Oh, well, Rosie always just called him remarkable Mike Lynn. Yeah. So remarkable Mike Lynn. Those were the days when you were on the inside with those guys. And with KOC and Kwesi, they're a little more standoffish. They're a little bit different. That's a different regime.
I'm literally married to the chief legal officer of the Vikings. She can't
say anything to you, though.
Oh, but I can look at contracts. Oops. I'm like that guy from The Atlantic. I can find out things.
Really? Oh, my gosh.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't. It's all.
Isn't that funny?
Isn't that remarkable?
You wish you wish Mike Lynn was still right. No, you wish Spielman was there because you were tight.
Spielman would have said. I was talking to Abbott about it. You think Spielman would have come out today and said?
He would have whispered in Kwesi's
ears. Brad Childress was on the phone with Aaron Rodgers or whomever. Never in a million years would he have said that. He was so good at avoiding any.
Yeah, but don't you prefer this because everybody knew?
That's why he called the news conference.
All those reporters are not wrong when they say it's not like Seifert, Rossini, Alec Lewis, everybody, all the people that work in the fish wrap factory, West and East, they're not making this stuff up about interest inside the walls of Winter Park.
Kwesi acknowledged 100% that KOC has had discussions with Aaron Rodgers. That is newsworthy.
Yeah, so that's all KOC was saying.
Exactly, and that's why he called the news conference today. He wanted that out there. It's the only reason why he called.
What I find interesting is he went with they asked him, so who talked to him? And he goes, well, I'm the kind of guy that believes if one person knows a person better, I'll leave it up to them. Yeah. And I think that was basically, I think my sources tell me that along with a contract extension and a very expensive one, KOC was also given a little bit more power. And my guess is this was, I'll handle this one.
Yeah,
Kwesi,
Is it any wonder why the Vikings
sign your you do your free agent, guys?
Right.
I got this. I'll talk to
Aaron Rodgers. Is it any wonder why the Vikings are never out of the news every single day of the year? No. I mean, Twins start the season tomorrow. I don't know where I'm going to watch them yet, but
on your phone.
No, I'm not going to watch it on my phone. The MLB is going to make the announcement tonight. Finally, tonight they're going to make the announcement. The tablets are coming down from the mount to let us know, let the viewers know where they can watch the Twins if you're so inclined tomorrow. That's what they're doing. This is how Major League Baseball operates. In the dark, letting people wait.
They can't help it that the local teams can't get anybody to want to broadcast them for the telecasters for those outrageous prices. That's on the Twins, not on Major League Baseball.
It's not just on the Twins. This is MLB's taking this over. They could.
Well, they had to because the Twins do.
Well, it's not just the Twins.
Well, yeah, other terrible teams in terrible cities with terrible fans.
I'm just saying that to wait till the night before is pretty ridiculous.
It's not that big of a deal.
Well,
they'll let you know that.
I know it's not going to matter.
If the game starts at 7:05 or 3:05, you don't need to know till 3:04, and then you go, there it is, and you turn it on.
I didn't understand that.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. A-Rod, he's coming to Minnesota. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more after this here on The Fan.
Wednesday on The Fan, presented by Jim Beam, a crowd pleaser since 1795, and we've got your shot at tickets to tomorrow's game. Be caller 12. Right now, caller 12 will get a chance to win tickets to see the Wild take on Ovechkin and the Capitals tomorrow night. 1-800-320-5326. Caller 12. Good luck.
Couple 13-14 pass, Common Man Program. I'm Common. He's Brett Blakemore, Mark Rosen here as well. This text message came in. It says, Twins.tv, either Gleeman or The Geek were talking about it. Twins direct-to-consumer streaming service. $20 a month. Basically, just load Twins.tv onto your smart TV, just like Netflix. Sounds simple.
I understand that.
And that's all you have to do.
I may end up doing that, but that has nothing to do with the decision, that the announcement that MLB is supposed to make tonight about the principal carriers like Comcast, or I don't know if DirecTV is involved with it, beyond this.
I've got Netflix. I don't need it. I'm just going to download it on my smart TV.
That's fine. And I may end up doing that too tomorrow afternoon. But I'm just saying there's an easier way of probably doing it, and that's what the MLB is supposed to announce tonight. That's what we're waiting for. That's all. No big deal. You're right. It doesn't matter. They're not playing till 3:05 tomorrow. And Pablo Lopez against Sonny Gray. That's fine if you're a fan, want to watch the games, and a different method. We'll find out. I don't know how the pricing's going to be anyway. So that's true. Yeah.
It's not that hard to get Twins games on your smart TV. Download the MLB app, choose the Twins as your team, pay $99, and you're done.
There you go. You're right. And I'm not disagreeing with any of that.
Let me guess, you're a guy that doesn't like to use self-checkout either.
Oh, I heard you talking about that briefly.
Yeah, you don't like using
self-checkout. I use, depending on how many items I have.
Okay.
And if they're, like if you buy, for instance, if you buy an onion or whatever, I have no idea how to price that.
You don't. You just throw it in your bag and say you forgot.
Now, if you're buying packages that have prices on it and you get to scan it, then that's the easiest thing in the world.
I couldn't find the what is it called? Button bar, code bar, whatever it is.
On what?
On the toothpaste at first. And I thought, why isn't there one?
Was that a grocery store?
Yeah, no, Target. And I was really bitter at first. And then I did finally find it. So
yeah, good for you. Yeah, Target's that's a good place to do all the self-serve. They're usually pretty good about all that stuff. But
I might have to sneeze here any second.
That's okay.
Allergy season for me. Richard Pitino.
Yeah, I missed what he said. Yeah, how about that?
He's playing for Xavier or coaching Xavier.
Yeah, remember, it used to be coaches like, Richard Pitino. I mean, our guy, Nico Medved. I mean, this was always commonplace. Once, and we're not even in the Sweet 16 yet. The last time I looked, it starts tomorrow night, and coaches are already moving around. And then, by the way, there are 1,000 players in the transfer portal already, and it's just the wild, wild west out there. And I didn't hear. I heard you promo something. I did not hear Pitino's comments. I heard Tom Izzo. I watched Tom Izzo yesterday talk about, someone asked him about the transfer portal. He got really passionate about being loyal and being in the moment with the guys who are on this team right now. He says, I can't worry about next year. I can't worry about any of that other stuff. I owe it to them to be at my very best, and all I care about is preparing them for Ole Miss this weekend. And it was, probably more than kind of a cliched answer. He was pretty passionate about the whole thing. Of course, he's in a position, as Tom Izzo is, to normally get some of the best players because it's Michigan State. They've had an established program for, decades now. I didn't hear what Pitino said about it, but kudos to him. That's not surprising. I mean, he
said all sorts of things.
I bet. I'm sure he's a bright guy.
Xavier is one of the great brands in all the college. Wait, hold on. So I'm sorry. Xavier is one of the great brands in all of college basketball. It has always been a dream of mine to coach in the Big East. The Cintas Center is going to be rocking. I can't wait to get to work.
Coach against his dad now, right?
He said, do I think that nil and revenue sharing is everything? No, I don't. But if you don't have it, you have no chance.
Right.
I think the balance of power has greatly, greatly shifted in those conversations any coach has had with any AD or whatever. That's going to be the first thing. What's the investment looking like, and what will it be like down the road? This landscape's crazy. Mm-hmm. Coaches are still getting fired for not winning enough games.
Yeah, which is crazy.
He says, talks about he feels like he's better coach now than when he was with Minnesota. He says, I would say now more so than younger in my career. I understand it's not about an out-of-bounds player or a turnover. It's about the program that you build. I think when you're a young head coach in the Big Ten, especially, you're just trying to kind of establish yourself. Humbly speaking, I'm not worried about that anymore. I'm just worried about doing my very best to help my players and my players and my staff to help them in the best positions possible. And he's more comfortable with who he is, where he's been, where he's going.
Well, he's an established program.
He had some success here. Yeah. He got to the NCAA tournament a couple of times. Right. He won the NIT, did we not?
I think we did.
I think we won the NIT, and then he went on, and he's they won a tournament game this year. First time that school's won it since 2013 or 2014, something like that. And so he is. In other words, had Richard Pitino come to Minnesota now rather than when he did, who knows where, because he does seem like, he's got some coping chops. Yeah. He working with your dad, one of the best of all time.
And it's the same thing with Niko Medved. That's kind of what the message was yesterday, that he's better prepared probably right now to assume the details of trying to get things turned around here than he would have been 3-4 years ago before he went to Colorado State. And now he's in a much better position, better contacts, better understanding of the business community, maybe all of that. And obviously with his Minnesota ties, he's in a much better position to maybe get things happening sooner than later.
You're getting ripped.
Okay.
Rosen said Rodgers isn't healthy. He got further from his injury and played very good his final 5 to 6 games. Finished top 10 in TDs and yards despite all the dysfunction of the Jets. The Vikings have all the leverage to tell him to show up to minicamp at Otis, or we move off him as a starter if needed. The fact is the Vikings roster is in win-now mode. Rodgers' ceiling is a big game. McCarthy's ceiling, unless he's Brady, is a playoff appearance. Rosen will flip-flop the second he signs. Will you flip-flop?
First of all, I said I would welcome Aaron Rodgers on this team, but I'm not suggesting they're going to hand him the starting job. And I didn't say I think he wasn't healthy. He got healthier, obviously, but he was coming off the Achilles, and it took him a long time to get going. I saw, I was in the game, at the London game where I watched him, throw some bad interceptions at the end. He can still sling it. Of course, he can still sling it. I mean, at that age. No, I would welcome him to come here if he wants to come here. I think, first of all, from a PR standpoint, from a media standpoint, it doesn't get any better than that. And that's what I just talking to you off air during the commercial break. I said if the Wild and the Wolves were both in their conference finals right now, and Aaron Rodgers decided to come to play Minnesota, it wouldn't even matter. I mean, that's all that people would be. That's all that people are talking about today. The fact that Kwesi came out and said his exact quote. I'm talking about KOC. They have had a lot of conversations. He looped us in. We kind of met and we went from there. It's a new thing to talk about a player of that caliber. This wasn't, all the speculation about are the Vikings interested in Aaron Rodgers was put to bed today, 100%, when KOC let it be known.
That's your phone ringing?
Yeah, it was my phone dinging. I didn't have it on.
Is that somebody in Winter Park?
No, this is the second. I'm not the first one that's got this thing. I don't mind talking about it.
You owe money to
Easy Pass.
Easy Pass?
Yeah.
You better give them your information.
Yeah, I better give them all my. What is this about?
Give them your phone number, your bank account, and your social security.
What toll?
It's a scam.
Of course, it's a scam. I got it once before, but I'm not my final reminder. I guess they're going to come and
you better
take
pay
my
now.
car. Doesn't even have an amount. You will face penalties or legal action.
Well, go ahead right now and contact them. Go ahead and do it.
Give me your bank account number. Oh, my God. What a joke. Anyway, so Kwesi did, and that's why, again, why did he hold his news conference today? He wanted to get it out there that they have legitimately had conversations, that KOC had conversations.
Why did they want to get that out there?
Well, I think to put it to bed, to at least stir the pot.
I see.
To let people know.
Why do they want to play with our emotions like that?
They've had,
we're all in this thing together. It's 40 for 60 and 70.
And kudos to the reporters who stuck by their story. The Alec Lewises. There have been others nationally that said the Vikings have shown an interest in him. That's all it is. Doesn't mean he's coming here. I know that's what you want to hear.
He will be the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings week 1. Guaranteed. You heard it here. He will be the starting quarterback. It's a little steep. How about $4.23?
Whatever you want.
We'll take a break and come back. Right. One more segment to go with the legendary Mark Rosen here on The Fan.
Join Meat Sauce Lucky and Miller Lite at the Lookout in Maple Grove this Thursday from 5 to 7. Stop by to register for a chance to win a spot in the Vikings Foundation Golf Tournament. Full details now, KFAN.com. Keyword golf.
Couple 13-14 pass, Common Man Program. I'm Common. He's Brett Blakemore. The legendary Mark Rosen is here. Wild lose. 3-0's the final. Meanwhile, your St. Louis Blues, I think, won.
5-1 was the final.
Was it 5-1?
Yeah, they got a couple
3-0 was the game before.
I know they start to blend together.
I get my losses.
They kind of do.
I get my losses.
Well, they had some open netters and blah, blah, blah. But it was one-sided.
St. Louis won, I believe, their 7th game in a row, and now the Wild's lead over the Blues in the standings is down to 2 points. Your thoughts?
Well, it's more of hanging on to a playoff spot. Doesn't matter where at this point because.
Well, you don't want to start with Dallas.
Well, no, but you don't. I mean, I don't know if you want to start with Winnipeg. You don't really have a choice but to play. You're going to play a good team.
We can beat Winnipeg.
You can?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, they really haven't. It's so. It's got to be really frustrating for Wild fans. Last night I had the game on, and at one point they had on the broadcast they had technical difficulties. They put up the old slide, and you could hear the announcers kind of in an echoey, like an echo chamber. And I'm thinking, God, if they have technical difficulties any longer, we might actually miss the Wild getting a shot on goal. And came back, and sure enough, they had.
Find that funny?
No, I find it sad. And I heard John Hines
taking cheap shots.
Well, it's you got to have some gallows humor, knowing the sun's about to come up. You hope because. And John Hines, I heard him on today with PA driving around. Yeah, Kaprizov and Joel Eriksson-Ek.
They're skating again.
Well, they're not officially. Oh. They're getting closer. And he refused to put a timetable or how many regular season games you think they'll end up playing. I can't tell you. You're running out of them. How many do they have left? But they're getting closer. That's what Bill Guerin was all emphatic about earlier. You can't even imagine the effect that one guy in particular, Kaprizov, who I still think is tied for the team lead in goals. He's missed like 40 games. And Eriksson-Ek will have on this hockey team. Is it good enough to make a push, win a first round series? Remains to be seen. No doubt that Gus Bus is going to have to be the guy in goal. I think they're going to ride him as far as they can. But what kind of an effect will it galvanize the team when they finally get back? They're missing Foligno, who's as Hines said, he's their high energy guy, not just.
His motor never stops.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that's kind of, he's got that personality, and it does affect a lot of the younger players on the team. But it's all about those two guys that really make that big of a difference on a team like this. So, because offensively, it is. I mean, it's not just the game last night. It's a struggle to watch them. Once in a while, they make some nice plays, but it's just that they don't have the consistency, nor can they compete at this level. Against these teams in the postseason without those two guys. It just would be over in a hurry. So let's hope they do get back. And they're getting closer, so let's believe the coach, and hopefully they not only just come back, but come back at a high level. And that's a lot to ask, considering how much time they've missed, but they're itching to get back. This is what they love to do. They want to get out there.
It's like riding a bike, isn't it, Mark?
Well, I don't. The conditioning, I don't think would be a problem. I think especially you see Kaprizov and his work ethic and what he means to this team on special teams and everything else. So yeah, I mean it would be fun to see them turn it around. But they get to face the number one team in the NHL tomorrow night, and the guy who's chasing Gretzky, Alex Ovechkin.
6 goals behind, or is it closer now?
I think it's 6, but they played
6. Brett Blakemore, you're the hockey guy here in the show.
I want to say it's down to that, but yeah. It would take a double hat trick for him to break it against the Wild.
Yeah,
but if he doesn't break it this year, he'll come back and play next year. I mean, he's going to break it, and he's still playing at a high level, and he's just one of those dangerous guys that you just can't keep your eyes off of when he's on the ice. He knows how to position himself, especially in the power play, in that one spot all the time. So, yeah, I mean, from a fan's perspective, it'll be a very entertaining night. They've played, actually, I think they've played pretty well against the Caps over the years, but they're a force to be reckoned with. That's for sure.
I graduated high school the same year as Nico Medved and attended a basketball camp with him. I remembered his name because it's unique, and then 2 years later, I specifically, hold on, I'm getting more texts coming in. I graduated high school the same year as Nico Medved and attended a basketball camp with him. I remembered his name because it's unique, and then 2 years later, I specifically remember watching the 10 o'clock news on Channel 4 and hearing Mark Rosen talk about this young guy he had his eye on that was going to make a great coach one day. That was back in 1992. You had your eye on him all the way back then, didn't you?
He was a very impressive assistant and grad assistant with the team. I could tell he was going to be the Alex Tuck of coaching.
You could tell that, couldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a success story. It is.
There was a positive result for the Timberwolves last night, even though they did not play. Mm-hmm. The Warriors destroyed last night. They got drubbed. Steph Curry sits out. As we speak, it's a logjam.
Oh, yeah, all of a sudden everybody's losing.
Timberwolves are currently, if the playoffs were to begin today, they're in the 8th spot.
Right.
But they're 41-32. Clips are 40-31. Warriors 41-31. The Lakers, they've been struggling.
Yeah, they have. They have.
You know, with LeBron out for a while.
He's back now.
Correct. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They're 43-28. I mean, it's not inconceivable. The Wolves, if they went on some kind of a run, they could get up to the 5th spot. That's not inconceivable.
No, it's not inconceivable. No, not at all. I mean, they have to. I saw that Julius Randle said something about they had a rather aggressive, I don't think that's the word he used, but something similar practice today.
Oh.
They got at it, I think is what he said. They needed to because it was a lackluster performance the other night in Indiana.
Do you think they'll try harder than the other teams?
I think they'll try harder than Phoenix on Friday night.
Is it Friday night they play?
Yeah. Friday night they play a team they've played awfully well against, and Phoenix isn't going anywhere. The Clips play against your guy tonight, Bodega Cat in New York against the Knicks. So go Knicks. And the Wolves will be rooting for them against the Clips because it would help, Minnesota, obviously, because they're neck and neck with the Clips, and then Golden State, I think, has another. They don't play until Friday night. I think they got the Pelicans or something. But yeah, I mean, the Heat made pretty quick work out of that one, and Jimmy Bucket's return was kind of much ado about nothing. But yeah, it's going to go down the wire. I mean, the Wolves got Phoenix, and they got really good Detroit team here Sunday night, early game, and then they go to Denver on Tuesday. So, buckle up. Here we go.
You saw that Bodega Cat and Josh Hart became the first pair of Knicks teammates to record triple-doubles in the same game.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. I think it's only been done in the NBA 8 times, 10 times. I don't know. I mean, 2 players, same team, triple-doubles. I think it's going to be the Knickerbockers against the Warriors in the NBA Finals. What are you laughing about? Bodega Cat against Jimmy Butler.
You couldn't be more wrong. But that's okay. You have fun with that.
Well, what do you think the NBA Finals is going to be?
You don't think that's possible, Rosie?
Anything's possible.
What do you think it's going to be, Mark? Let me guess. You think it's going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Boston Celtics?
I think, despite the fact they're going to have some bumps in the road, because the playoffs are a whole different animal, and I don't know, Oklahoma City is going to be, tested. They haven't gone through it the way they're going to have to go through it this year. And, teams just play at a different level the postseason. But, I mean, that team has had an extraordinary regular season. When you talk about effort and, mailing it in or doing it, they don't seem like they ever mail it in. It's a hard team not to appreciate and enjoy watching. They're very tight knit. They play great defense. They got a lot of depth. They got the superstar. I mean, so I got to go with OKC. And I mean, Cleveland's had the best record, but fourth quarter, bring it to the ticket. I still think Boston will win.
This text message isn't to the Bradshaw Bryant KFAN text line. It's to my personal text line, and it says it's from Sauce. Says 2 things. Right. You aren't listening to Rosen talk hockey, and Rosen has never seen Ovechkin play, and I think both are correct. I think I'm not listening to you when you were talking. I didn't hear a word you said because I wasn't listening, and I think he's right. You've never even seen Ovechkin play.
I've seen Ovechkin play a number of times.
All right.
Sauce has never...
Does he have something better to do?
He's got to take care of Louis. Well, maybe Louis taking a nap. Maybe Sauce would take a nap.
Or is it Steve?
It's Steve, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny, but thanks for texting, Sauce.
Yeah.
Maybe you're working on the Masters bet for next week? 2 weeks.
7th.
2 weeks. Yeah, we got 2 weeks to go yet. Yeah.
Who do you like? Who are you going to pick?
I have no idea.
Let me guess. You're going to be forced to take Scotty Scheffler.
I'll be forced to take Bryson DeChambeau because there'll be a camera on him every single hole. Because the live guys will be back at the Masters. That's good. That's good news. At least you get another half dozen big names that are going to be in the Masters. I see Jim Nantz said he's going to do the Masters till maybe 2036. That's what he said.
Good for him.
Said, you made that announcement, Jim? I love you, Jim, but because I know he's done with obviously Final Four.
It'll never be the same without him.
He'll be 78 or something by then. So, yeah, hell of a run. But he made that announcement.
It's happened in this town. I know there are radio guys, and names will not be just. No need to mention them, but they would say, like, I'm retiring in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thanks for the warning.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really cares. And when it's time to make that announcement, like, maybe, hey, I'm going to retire in the next couple of weeks or a year maybe, but 5 years? I don't understand, but that's what they do.
People have made that announcement?
They've done it before. I've heard. We'll talk maybe a bit more Twins tomorrow because they open the season tomorrow. Is that correct?
They do in St. Louis,
season.
right when we're doing the show.
We still don't know what time. Well,
it's at 3:15.
But we're not going to be able to know where to watch it.
70 degrees in St. Louis. Yeah, I think Rosie wrote an article about the cheap St. Louis Cardinals today, about how they've gone on the cheap ever since they refused to sign Albert Pujols back in the day, and fans are pretty disgruntled there about the direction of the team. Coming off a mediocre season for them.
Didn't the owner of the Cardinals make the PST a couple years ago saying it's not profitable to own a baseball team?
Yeah, I think he did.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so it all starts tomorrow.
What do you think? You picking the Twins to win the division?
I don't know. I mean,
you can go ahead. I won't mock them.
No, I'm not going to. I mean, they're actually the favorite to win it, but
not everywhere. But
the fact that they're in the conversation, which is pretty remarkable, since they really didn't have any major signings this offseason, to say, yeah, we got that guy. We went out of the way to spend a little bit more money. I mean, I still haven't got over the way they approached the last season after they had the playoff success. Finally had some playoff success, and they went, yeah, I think we'll cut payroll again. That's a good signal to send to the fans after being down at Target Field and seeing some genuine, real excitement, playoff baseball, and they go, we lost too much money.
And now it doesn't look like, they don't have a potential buyer in line right now. It looked like it was going to be the guy, the Yeshiva characters, but they decided to invest more in the
White
Sox. And so now
that's
the Twins,
probably not a bad thing.
The Twins, I mean, I think there are some people that have kicked the tires.
Yeah.
But the Twins don't want anything less than $1.7 billion. And then I saw it in The Athletic where it was written that Joe would like as part of the agreement to be where he gets to still run the club.
I heard Burrow go off on it yesterday. He's absolutely right. It's in his word, gobsmacked. He likes to use that word. How someone... But Joe Pohlad thinks he would be in control of this baseball team after you sell it. I don't understand the thinking behind it.
Well, why would you? Well, let me interject. I think it's crazy, but there have been ownership groups that have done that in the past where they keep somebody to run it because they really don't know how to run a baseball
they're business
team.
people.
They're business people, and so they let a guy hang out. But I would think if I were to buy a team, and if and if Joe said, and I'd like to run it, and I'd say, well, we'll consider you, but we're not making any promises. And if part of the deal had to be where, well, no, if we sell the team, I get to run it, then I'd say we'll sell it to somebody else. Then.
But Joe Pohlad, he doesn't. I wouldn't say he knows baseball all that well. I mean, I never
He's
thought
been around the team forever.
Never imagined saying I missed the days of Calvin Griffith. I mean, who was a baseball guy, and that's what his family did. And unfortunately, the game, the economics of the game had passed his family by. But that was his only source of income. That was it. Wasn't a banker. Wasn't a real estate guy. He was a baseball guy. As archaic as Calvin was, he was a pleasure to be around in a lot of crazy ways. And so was his family. But, man, they were fun. Then a banker named Carl Pohlad came along, took care of business.
Okay, now one of you guys Google twinsdaily.com and get your cable TV assignment so you know where to watch it now because you've just been panicked about it.
I'm not panicked. I'm just
you were very upset
is it
about
happening
it. That's
now?
what somebody told me. Someone just sent a text that said, see twinsdaily.com
I can't
for cable assignments for the Twins.
All right. Well, good.
Can you do that for us, Brett Blakemore? Are you doing that as we speak?
I mean, I'm looking.
See twinsdaily.com for cable assignments for the Twins. Is there anything there?
Open day roster, Fort Myers.
Well, apparently someone's, what is it called? Pulling my chain? Because if it's not there, it's not there. But somebody suggested that it was.
I don't know. I haven't.
Not seen it.
Big George Foreman, dead at 76. Your thoughts?
Oh, man. On Minneapolis ties. I mean,
he did?
Well, I think his first wife was from here.
Oh.
And I think he was roaming the halls of, I think I have the same, I think George Foreman did that, Minneapolis North or something. He worked here for a while. I mean, he
worked here when?
I think in post-career, he was obviously, I think, worked the hallways. I don't know. I remember people telling me about that.
That sounds crazy.
It does sound crazy. But George Foreman was, at one point before, you know this. I mean, this as fierce and destructive a heavyweight fighters you'll ever see in your life. I mean, down goes Frazier. I mean, and then the Thriller in Manila and what happened with what Ali did that with George, he made him punch himself out, and then he still came back and won the championship at the age of 45, 46. And then he had a wonderful life after boxing. I mean, and obviously the George Foreman grill and just his personality and just so unlike his ring presence, and ended up being kind of the darling that way of you don't have to be a boxing fan to appreciate George Foreman. So it was sad to hear about. I don't know if the sport, the shots he took contributed to his downfall. I normally that is the case, as we know, with so many others in that era. But yeah, I mean, one of the last big names and one of the most destructive punchers we'd ever seen in heavyweight fights.
Big George Foreman.
Yeah, Big George Foreman.
Won the gold medal.
Yes, he did.
1968.
Yeah.
Mexico City.
I've watched that that fight with Ali, and oh man. When he hit Joe Frazier and lifted him off the canvas, it took it was like a 3-second delay. He hit him so hard, it made Joe jump in the air, and before he hit the mat, man.
Do you know how many times Joe Frazier got knocked down in that fight?
Like 10?
6.
Oh, did he really? My God. Wow.
6 times.
Yeah, they're all gone. As I said, Ali, the big ones, Ali, Frazier, and Foreman now.
Kenny Norton,
is he still around?
No.
He passed too, that's right. Oh, man. Yeah.
Ron Lyle, gone.
Spinks, those people are, I don't know.
Well.
And they're not in the same category.
Leon Spinks did pass away, but
yep.
He was not in that same category.
No.
He just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Right.
He lost. Ali was, I think Spinks was 8-0. He lost to, and then Spinks beat him out of nowhere. And then that's where all the titles started to change hands, because Spinks was supposed to have a mandatory title defense, and he decided to give Ali a rematch. So he stripped the title Comcast channel and told us 1261.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for the information.
So now you know. So is he okay now?
I was fine before.
You were very bitter, I could tell.
Bitter. I was just
you just confused. You were beside yourself that they wouldn't make the announcements earlier.
1261 on Comcast. So do I have to sign up for it, or is that just part of my package?
I don't know.
Well, good to know. Thank you for that information. I'm sure I'll find it tomorrow.
Will you be at the home opener?
Is it a week from Thursday?
I haven't looked that far ahead.
I think it is. I'd like to be. Yeah. It's always fun. It's always,
Champions Club or media?
I don't think I'll be in the Champions Club too much this year. I don't know.
Depends if you get that invite, right?
I don't have too many people that invite me to the Champions Club. It takes one.
That's all it takes one. What do they call it? Is it the Mercedes Club or the...
Oh, at the Target Field?
Instead of the Lexus Club. Is it like the Mercedes Club?
No, I think, as far as I know, it's just the Champions Club. I don't know if they have a sponsor.
Maybe it's the Audi Club.
Yeah. Oh, my.
Maybe it's the BMW Club. I don't know what they call it.
I don't know what either. So.
That's where the beautiful people hang out.
Yeah. I'm finding the second deck.
What do you like? You like Sonny Gray or Lopez to come out on top tomorrow?
Oh, Lopez, of course. and the bullpen. Shut down Griffin Jackson, Ty France. Big day, opening day for the Twins.
Unbelievable.
Can't win them all till you win the first one.
Yeah, that's for sure. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 or 2 o'clock, right?
Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday. We got basketball tomorrow night, finally Sweet 16.
I look forward to it. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Common.
That's the legendary Mark Rosen. Brett Blakemore, thanks. You did a great job today.
Hey, great job today to you as well.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll be here tomorrow. We enjoyed our visit with you today. Thanks for tuning in. Let's step aside and turn it over to Big Ticket. Is JG, are you in for JG?
It's me as well.
You're doing double duty.
That's
and
right.
Brett Blakemore, they're next here on The Fan.
Good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.